Such a lovely spring day. Why not?
Yeah, grabbed my winter jacket back out of the closet. Lovely. Thank you all for coming this morning. We've got a pretty good group. Props to everyone for showing up. I like it. Can we do just like a quick go around and everyone introduce themselves in a minute? We'll do like a speed round. Before we do that, I wanted to say thank you to Jake from One Page Accounting, as well as his two sons now, who both have realty groups. They are also coffee sponsors. If you see Jake or Mini Jakes, thank them. Rude, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Abby Topner. I'm one of the organizers of 1 Million Cups, along with Camille Mortimer, Brian Mayer, Brian Tafora, Greg Barker, and Matt Cordio, who I think is in, is he in Ireland right now?
Yes.
Yeah, fun.
What? It's like drunk.
We're drinking coffee, he's drinking beer. Thanks so much for coming out today. We're going to hear from Kat Ramirez today about Adbidtise as well. Cool, so I know that Catherine has a great presentation all lined up for us, so I won't take any more of her time, and we'll let you come up here and take it away.
Okay, great. First I want to say thank you. If some of you recognize me, I've been to a few of these, so I was super excited to get selected and present my story. And so my story is Adbidtise. So I have a virtual advertising marketplace. How do I do it? Oh, I guess that's supposed to start. Okay. So why Adbidtise? So my theory, my belief is Adbidtise will revolutionize the advertising environment. Adbidtise is like the eBay of advertising, or the Amazon or Priceline, whatever you guys are familiar with. That's what Adbidtise is all about. I like to consider myself the Robin Hood of advertising. I go to media companies and I have them put their advertising package on my platform, therefore making it the virtual advertising marketplace. So what does Adbidtise offer to small and mid-sized businesses? We empower them. Knowledge is power. Advocacy for small and mid-sized businesses. So my background is I have been in television sales for 25 years. So I've seen all too often how the media company sells and represents their platform and how that process is laid out. And so there is no advocacy right now for small and mid-sized businesses in order for them to advertise. And then, of course, finally, we are a resource to educate about all advertising options. Okay. So what is Adbidtise? And I'm going to go over and say this over and over, and you guys will be impounded with it, okay? So again, it's the new way to do advertising in the virtual advertising marketplace. So basically what I'm doing with my platform is I'm matching advertising to small to mid-sized businesses' needs. So basically it is like a dating site, but for advertising and small to mid-sized businesses, okay? And so the function of the platform is to match them so that it makes it easier for them to make decisions on advertising. And so that they can advertise. And that's basically what Adbidtise is all about. So affordable advertising options available to them. So the current problem right now, and for the buyers, and there's more than just this list, but I try to come up with probably the most compelling ones is, and some of you as business owners may be able to relate to this, is it is very stressful and confusing. Small businesses rely totally on media salespeople for giving them information and educating them about advertising. And when they do that, it tends to be on their platform alone, okay? There is not one single place, and now that I'm an entrepreneur and a small business owner, there's not one place to find out about advertising. And so that needs to change. And businesses don't know all the advertising options. So as a business owner, had I not had the background of advertising, I personally would not know where to go to find advertising options. I would probably make the assumption is it's TV or radio, just like anybody else. And then finally, again, the media companies, when they represent their platform, their representation is going to be totally greedy based on their corporate budget goals and expectations and any initiatives that they have in place. Okay, the current problem for sellers. So media companies can't find good salespeople. So in my 25 years of broadcast advertising sales, 80% of my time was a hiring sales manager. And so my biggest problem was finding good salespeople. There were times where I would be a man down for a whole year because I could not find good salespeople. Media reps are perceived as high pressure sales. They're the used car salespeople of today. If you haven't encountered a media sales rep, I challenge you to talk to one. New business development is a huge problem. So in every media environment, there are totally seasoned reps there. And those seasoned reps are fat and happy. So they're not interested in developing any new business. And remember, I know this firsthand. I've worked in 5 different markets in ABC, NBC, CBS, Telemundo, CW, every platform you can think of. I've worked for the #1 TV station in the bottom of the barrel. It doesn't change. The problems are the same no matter what. And it doesn't matter what market size or where you are. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter what media platform. They're all the same. It's the same problem. And then there's a ton of wasted unused inventory every month. So this wasted inventory has become a problem, I would say, in the last probably 10 years when we transitioned from the old analog signal to the digital. So everybody now has digital. So radio now has several outlets, okay? And they're required to sell a lot of opportunities on their platform. TV has, the TV station I represent, we sold 7 TV stations. That is almost like cable. It is hard to sell 7 TV stations, okay? So there's magazines that sell more than just one platform. So what I'm saying is it's now multiplied. And so there's multiple things that media people are responsible for doing. And it's very difficult to think that your team can go out and do it, okay? Especially if they were seasoned and groomed to sell the platform that they were in, so traditional TV or traditional radio, okay? So that's a problem. And then finally, of course, media sales reps don't even consider calling on small businesses. They don't. If it's a waste of their time, if they think they're not gonna make money, they're not gonna talk to you, okay? And that's a problem. And so, again, why I have created the virtual advertising marketplace. So here are some great numbers to think about. When I think about Adbidtise every day, there's 28 million small businesses in the USA, 543 new businesses every month, okay? Every month. If you do the math, there's a lot of businesses that wash out, okay? Small businesses generate about 50% of the US economy, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal for me because it tells me, it should tell any of you who are business owners that small businesses are the backbone of the US economy. And if you don't competitively stand out and say, shop me, then America or consumers are gonna go to the big box shop, okay? And so you gotta fight for your share of voice. You gotta fight for your piece of the pie. 54% of small businesses don't advertise at all, and 70% of small businesses don't even have a website. So I have a team in place now, and the 70% and 50% are true, although I think it's a little higher. We go and find new businesses and search small and mid-sized businesses just to reach out to them and let them know about Adbidtise. And a lot of times we can't even find a website, we can't find that business. So we go by listings of new business listings, that are published. And so then we search for the businesses and we can't even find them. So if I can't find them, and I'm a media person, and how is their customer gonna find them? Which to me, I'd be a little scared if I was in that business, or if I was that business owner. And then finally, 76% of consumers say, if you advertise, this is the consumer saying this, if you advertise, if you do something, they will remember you, okay? And that is a big deal. So, the solution, Adbidtise, the virtual advertising marketplace. Does anybody have any questions now that I'm getting to the meat and potatoes?
Can you just define inventory?
Yes. And so I'll use the example of in television. So when we sold 7 television, and I was a sales manager, so my job every day, every week, was to manage inventory that was not being used. And so what does that mean? That means going in and looking and seeing the bulks of inventory that were unsold, okay, every week, and to figure out a revenue of how much money we lost every week. And so with 7 TV stations, the one that was sold out was CBS, you know? The other stations, never. I would say probably they were at, some of them were at 25% capacity, you know? Most of them at 50, okay, if it was a good day. So that, they had a ton of inventory. And so there's a lot of inventory to get rid of, to sell. Because what happens is we gift it. We start gifting it because you don't want to look like nobody's watching, nobody's advertising on your TV station. And even the smaller stations, and so like the Bounce TV, the Me TV, all of those stations, okay? But there is a value to them. There is a value. There's an audience and there's a value. And so that's one example, okay? Print, the same thing. Every media has that problem, you know? But very good question. Okay. So advertise. The whole premise of advertise is to offer options, okay? So we deliver affordable advertising options on a pressure-free environment. So what are the benefits? Lots of them. So we have lots of options. It's affordable, okay? So the number one thing in meeting with small to mid-sized businesses every day. And so as a sales manager, my primary focus was always a local team. So I would go on calls with my team and talk and meet with small to mid-sized businesses every day. And the number one thing we heard all the time, the biggest objection, I can't afford advertising. That was the number one thing, okay? And so I want to remove that. I want small to mid-sized businesses to know that there is advertising out there that you can't afford, okay? So when I say affordable, there's stuff on my website that's free. There's stuff on my website that is as low as $60, okay? Yes?
You pinpoint local geographies when you're doing
What do you mean? Like when I'm...
How targeted are you?
it? Or just Milwaukee?
No, I'm in 5 different markets. I'm in Madison, Milwaukee, Knoxville, Omaha, and Chicago.
You just pick Milwaukee?
Yes, Milwaukee, yes. Easy to use, 24/7 access, no pesky salesperson, because remember, again, small to mid-sized businesses don't like the used cars. Nobody does, you know, nobody wants anybody hounding on them. It's pressure free, so you have no obligation to buy. You do not have to buy anything. You could start an account, come on, peruse it, go off. And you know, nobody's gonna hound you. So if you think about the platform and you think about the other e-commerce out there, okay, when you have a need, you're gonna go on it and check it out, okay? So the same thing like Groupon, if anybody's used Groupon, if you have a need, you're gonna go and see what's available. If you have a need, you go on eBay, right, to find something and kind of check the resources. And so that's what Adbidtise is all about. That's the premise, that's the focus, that's how it should be used. Free consultation, so they have access to me or any of my team, you know, at any time. They can email me. I've made it super available. They can chat, email, call, whatever. You know, so they have total access. It's unbiased and it is a resource. It's a total resource. But it does generate the recommendations, and that's the back end part that I talked about, yes.
Yeah, what forms of advertising is it? Like, what forms do you offer?
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so the competitive landscape. So who are my competitors? Okay, so right now as it stands, when I talk to small to mid-sized business owners, they have the assumption that advertising is traditional media. Traditional media is defined as TV, radio, print, okay? All three are perceived as very, very expensive. So anytime that we were calling on small to mid-sized businesses, when you start talking about advertising, they're like, yeah, nah, don't want to do it. Okay, so we probably got, if you're doing, you know, calls, we probably got about 80% of people that were calling said, no, don't want to meet with you, okay? And that 80%, most of them were probably because of the cost, the expense, okay? Does somebody have a question? Okay, so what is Adbidtise? This is Adbidtise. Adbidtise is about television, direct mail, print, community events, internet programs, creative production, radio, viral marketing, outdoor trade shows, sports marketing, anything and everything that is out there, okay? That's what Adbidtise is all about.
How do you provide the user the cost per thousand?
I'm not worried about cost per thousand. Small to mid-sized businesses don't even know about cost per point, cost per thousand, okay? At the end of the day, here's what I do know. After 25 years of being in advertising, working for the #1 TV station and for a TV station that had no ratings, no existence, okay? What I do know, advertising works. It totally works, okay? I have case study after case study after case study where I can give you examples.
Well, take it one step further. Well, how do you perform? Who gets that particular media that you're operating here? I mean, does it tell you that, how much the circulation is? Or?
Yes, yes. And I can go into details because I actually have a profile to show you what it looks like, but yes. So you know exactly what you're getting, okay? But this is what Adbidtise is about, okay? So my whole premise, and when I say I'm the Robin Hood of advertising, is I don't want to talk to a small and mid-sized business and say, I can't afford anything, okay? I don't ever want to hear that because I'm going and I'm scraping and I'm finding different media platforms so that small and mid-sized businesses can afford to advertise. That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, basically, you're getting these other people to offer up unsold inventory that no one's gonna sell within their own group.
A lot of times it's not even unsold. A lot of times. I'm running into media companies that, quite frankly, had the same situation I had. They can't find good salespeople, period. Okay, so here's the business model. This is probably like the really juicy stuff that you guys want to see. So there's my marketplace, okay? Those are some of my vendors in the middle, okay? And so the buyers, as you can see, free to set up. I have 15,000 in my database right now, okay, that we've contacted and they know about Adbidtise. They can buy premium ads, they can buy blogs, and there's internal matching for them, okay, to meet their counterpart, the sellers. And the sellers, how I make my revenue is there's a revenue split. I upsell them on fire sales. Fire sales mean they come to the front. So whenever someone does a search, they're on top, okay? They can buy blogs, they can buy premium listings where they stand out in front of the website. I'm starting a membership, and then there is no limit on media partners. I want to have a lot of them. I want my website to be populated with them. And so the business model, I am making money from both sides. And so that's how I make my money, okay? Because I'm sure people will ask, how do you make your money? Okay, so my market integration is I'm doing networking, I'm doing educational workshops, I'm having partnerships with business organizations. I have an advertising consultant team that reaches out to small to mid-sized businesses, and then I don't have limitations. I'm not going to be the typical media sales person who is going to put up the wall and say, I'm not talking to that business because they don't have money. That's not my premise. I want to talk to everyone. I don't want any business to be left out, okay? And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to achieve here. All of my workshops, or most, I should say most, are free, totally free, because advertising and Adbidtise, because it's the new way to buy advertising, I have to educate my marketplace, okay? And so small to mid-sized businesses are really, this is so new to them, okay? They love the idea, but this is so new because I am empowering them. And it's probably like the most amazing thing to see and to be a part of, because it's weird, because if someone empowered me, I'd be like, yay, yeah, okay. But to empower small and mid-sized businesses and for them to be a little standoffish is like just very interesting to see, okay? Okay, so what are some of my strategies to get the word out and to increase my member base is I highlight media companies. It's not about Adbidtise, it's about the media partners that I have. I just hit a milestone and a legacy partner. I was able to partner with WISC, the #1 TV station, the CBS affiliate in Madison. And so that's a legacy partner that I just acquired. And so I'm thrilled to death about that. And so that will be my next press release, and really focus and highlight them in everything that I do. Because it's not about me, it's about all the media partners that I have on board. And so that's what I definitely do, is highlight the partners. My partners love that because I'm touting them, okay? And that's why the media companies love me, is I'm putting them out in the marketplace. I highlight packages, so I do tout packages that are fire sales or I feel like are a great deal, okay? And so I'm talking to people about them. Media to stay top of mind right now. Weekly updates via newsletters. And so let me touch on the weekly updates via newsletter a little bit, okay? So my original launch was June 2015. The original launch was a completely different website that you see today. It was Ramp Up. And so when I went into my initial launch, it was the whole chicken and egg thing, okay? What do you get first? Do you get media partners, do you get businesses? It was the biggest challenge ever, and I struggled with it. And so finally I said, screw it, I'm just gonna go after both. I'm just gonna do them both. And so it worked. I feel like I was lucky and very fortunate. And I feel like because of my background, I was able to get partners on board very quickly. So in the beginning, I probably got about 10 media partners, like really quick. And then it was easy to get businesses, because when you can tout that you have these partners, then small and mid-sized businesses were happy to come on board and to be a part of it, okay? And so with the newsletters, I haven't really done major blasting. I haven't bombarded my 15,000 group because if I didn't have anything relevant to say, I was not going to say anything. And so I've only been doing it in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was the relaunch of my second phase, which is my revenue phase. And so now I will talk about the site. Now it will be the forefront, okay? And then all PR, again, media partners, I'll look for every opportunity to do a press release. But the press release is about, and again, my media partner, WISC, with me, okay? So I look for every opportunity to do a press release. And then I remind businesses to advertise. So if you've seen the website, recently I was touting Easter, where there is, and don't quote me, I think it's $17.5 billion spending power during the Easter season. Mother's Day is coming up, that's even more. That's $20.4 billion being spent for Mother's Day. And who does that affect? Jewelry, flowers, restaurants, houseware, a laundry list of things. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm reminding small to mid-sized businesses as, hey, stand out, tell people to shop you for Mother's Day, so you get a piece of that pie. Yes.
For example, let's say I have a high-end auto accessories business or a flower shop.
Yep.
And I sign up with you. Will you push it out there or make it available? How do I interact with them?
With the media companies?
You.
With the end customer.
Okay, depends on what media you pick. Okay, and I'll go through that like real soon. So I'll walk you through the process. Okay. Okay. So this is like the last slide, and then I'm going to walk you through this process. So don't think this is over yet. Okay. So this is the aftermath of Adbidtise. So this is my vision. Okay. This is what's going to happen, and these are just my best guess because I've been in that environment. I know that this is going to happen, okay? So, and let me give you a metaphor. Similar to the radio, box radio, and what streaming radio is today. Do you guys see the box radio ever? Never, right? Okay, that's what Adbidtise is going to do with what I'm going to walk you through, okay? And so the one-man agency shop will dissolve. Okay, because that one-man agency shop, and forgive me if anybody here is one, is biased, just like the media company, because they came from that radio environment and they're going to pitch radio, okay? Or they came from that TV environment and they're going to pitch TV, okay? And so at the end of the day, advertising about options and knowing what's the best fit for the client, okay? No need for rookie or weak sales reps, okay? I've already had this response from media companies. They're like, Kat, I'll partner with you. You have more energy and more spunk than a person I would hire. I will definitely I'll give you the opportunity, and I don't have to pay you a salary. And so I've already heard that, okay? Media companies they have to be honest and transparent, okay? I'll use a great example. I have a client that I worked with, and I placed media for her. And so we did a program in this market, Milwaukee, and I showed her options. We both agreed on one, okay? And so she said, don't place it yet, Kat. I have a great relationship with that company. And I said, okay, go ahead. And so she went and called, okay? Next day I heard from her. She said, Kat, go ahead and place it. They were going to charge me double. That's what I mean by honest and transparent, okay? So because she did not have the resume of she was a sales manager and a media person, they were going to charge her twice as much, okay? And then media companies will now be held accountable. So it's about delivering the goods, and this goes to your question, is what were your expectations? Because when someone buys something on my website, it's very, very thorough. I make sure that people talk. In the email after the purchase, I say these are the next steps, and it's outlined. The seller gets exactly what the buyer gets, so that they hold each other accountable, okay? And one of the steps is talk about the expectation, because you gotta talk about the expectation and agree. Because if that media company talks about it and agrees, they have to be held accountable. So no longer is it about the numbers, unless that's what you want. It's about delivering what the expectations were all about, okay? And that media company managing that, letting you know whether they can deliver it or not, then and there.
So once the business makes the buy, they make the buy through you,
Yes,
and then you hand them off to whoever they made the buy from
Yes.
to continue the rest of the process.
yes, that's exactly right. Okay, and then media companies will now have to have a competitive edge other than we're number one. Hey, we're number one. We're number one doesn't mean, me as a business owner, means nothing for me, okay? So when someone tells me they're number one, I say, okay, what does that mean for me? Translate that, okay? Because I need to know. Because I could care less if you're number one, but I need to know what does that mean for my business. And so that's what media companies will now have to do, rather than rely on, hey, we're number one. Okay, so in summary, advertising plus options equals empowerment, okay? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to empower small to mid-sized business owners and offer them options and let them know that they can advertise, okay? So let me walk you through the process. Okay, so this is the website when you create an account, okay? So I'm in the About Us page. In the About Us page, you'll see the tabs there, okay? So lots of information. Every one of those tabs has a video, If you're a video person, watch the video, okay? But it talks about the process. It talks about what the benefits are for the buyer, what benefits are for the seller, okay? So it's very thorough. This is your account page. So this is ABC Company who's buying, okay? And so once they go through the process of setting up their account, meaning their name, address, phone number, and then it asks 4 questions. When you set up your account, you're always going to be asked 4 questions. And it's those 4 questions there. Budget, your market, what media type you prefer, and what is your reach, okay? And those are the parameters that help match you, okay? So as I get bigger and I have more media companies, I can add more parameters in there to really narrow that, okay? To really being a dating website, And so when you set that up, automatically this will populate, and it's actually, there's a screen down here, but you can't see it. So your suggested advertising will populate, just automatically, okay? Any questions here? Yes.
Well, if you're a small business though, what do these questions mean to you? I mean, if I got there, how would I know how to answer that?
It's easy, they're all drop downs.
Is there any education that's going to help
Yeah,
them
that's what
understand, what what their market is, they may not have any idea. right?
Yeah, market is the city you live in.
Right,
That's it.
okay.
I made it very basic. It's very, very basic.
Well, true, but I mean, how, let's say I have a coffee shop, how do I know what my best media would be? Again, I don't know anything.
Then leave it as all.
Okay.
So I do have a tutorial video that talks about all this. So you leave it as all, because what you will know is your budget. That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, most people that have started an account, all they do is populate budget. Okay, budget is city actually. Okay, because you don't want media in Madison unless you have a location in Madison. Okay, and so I made it as bare, as simple as can be. Okay, but thank you, good feedback.
Hey, just let you know we have about 10 minutes.
Okay, great. So this is shop deals. So after you populate that, okay, at any time you can change it and go to shop deals and look at everything. Okay, so there is the shop deals where you can see everything that's in there. And then that's what it looks like. So that's how you would look at it. So those are all the logos of the companies and their package price. Yep.
How do they find this webpage? What are you doing to promote?
Oh, lots of stuff. So I'm buying a lot of internet ads. I'm on cinema advertising in Omaha and in Milwaukee. I bought Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. So, and then I do as much networking as I can to get out. So I do a lot of social media too. And so this is what the package looks like. Okay, so when a media company sets it up, their logo will always show, the market will show, and then this is their package. And so they put an example of what it is or the locations. They can have up to 4 pictures here, okay? And so they outline all the details of what you get. And I make sure I go through every package, I make sure it's very thorough, no surprises. It's explaining exactly what you're getting, okay? You can favorite it, you can ask a question, you know how many are available, you add it to your cart. It talks about the seller. If you want more information about the seller, you click on the seller and you find out another page about the seller. And it has the price and talks about the media. Does that make sense there? Yeah.
As a small business, I can see how this is targeting. Now when I've chosen to buy this ad and I'm handed off to the agency, who helps create the copy or content, or do you need to have that ready?
Nope.
Go.
When you buy this, you're asked 2 questions, okay? You're asked, is this a, what is the word? I lost it now. Is this a branding campaign or is this an urgent campaign, like you need traffic? Okay, so it asks you that question, and then it asks you, do you have production or don't you? So that the media company will know, okay?
And if you don't,
Most
do
of
you
them,
buy it, or do you have to?
No. All of them usually are included. The ones that aren't stated. If they're not stated, they're included. Okay, so all of them are included. What I've told the media companies is, if it's not included, you got to state it, and it's got to be bold. It's got to be big. Because again, I don't want surprises for anybody. Yeah.
A little bit more clarification on that. We've had a lot of startups here that target SMBs for marketing purposes, right? They say SMBs don't even do social media.
I'm sorry. What is SMB?
Small businesses.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So they don't do any marketing because they don't know how to. There's a lot of startups that actually help them put together like social media and stuff like that. You're sort of going even a step further in going into print. So I think the question is, what happens if they like the idea of either being on TV or print media? They have no idea where to start. Who puts that together for them? Do you help them do that?
I can. I'm a total resource. So I've started a second company besides this for that reason alone. And so I have Adbidtise that does creative, does branding, does business cards, website, all the basic bare bones stuff. I undercut the market and I get people started. Because what I want to do is I want to earn their business and have them start buying off my website. So yes, I do, and I have a team that is specific for that will reach out to them and we'll either do a webinar, we'll do a meeting, a conference call, whatever, to get them started. And I've met with lots of businesses now doing that.
So as a small business, before I spend $2,000, I would love to know the uplift I would get from this type of advertising.
Right.
Is that data available?
So basically, in this dialogue, they tell you how many impressions. It goes longer, okay?
Okay.
Just so you know. So they put out specifically what's the audience, okay? Who you're targeting, what's the audience, how many times your rotation comes up, okay? And all that information. If you don't see the information you need, you ask the question, okay? And then there's also, you guys, a live chat that you can ask a live chat as well, okay? But again, I go through these thoroughly, and sometimes I have to recopy them or re-edit them just because they don't put as much information as, like you're saying. So they prevent themselves from getting bought, and I want them to get bought.
So are you able to, I see a lot of you in what you're talking about. How do you replicate that? Because you said there's a lot of bad salespeople.
There's a ton of them.
So how do you replicate your energy? Because obviously you need to do that in other markets.
Yes. Okay, so I've been very fortunate. Let me see what the next slide. Okay, that's the business slide, in case you guys want to see it, because I think that's it. I've been very, very fortunate. I have a lot of interns that work for me. My process is I talk about my passion, I talk about the business model, I talk about giving back to the community and the things that I've learned. All of my interns that come on board have this passion. They all have a story of their father started a business and it failed and they witnessed it, you know? So all of them are connected somehow, you know? And so I find, I'm very fortunate, I'm very thankful that I find people that have this same passion. They may not be as vocal and they may not have the knowledge I have, but they have the passion and the heart to know that, hey, you know, my aunt or my uncle or my father or my mom had a business and they didn't know anything about advertising and it failed. And I see it, I understand what you're doing. I hope that answers the question. But this is what the business profile page looks like. And again, it's longer, you guys, okay? And it talks about the business, who they are, you know, what their circulation is, things like that. So it's more information. So, and again, they can have up to 4 pictures on this, or graphs, or research. They can have whatever they want on there, okay? This is what the cart looks like, just like any other cart, okay? So you put that, you also see things you viewed in case you want to purchase it, you know? And that's the process. There's a resource page, okay? So lots of resources to populate. And so I have a team that's coming on board in summer that's gonna research and give me a lot more compelling information to populate this with, you know, to help educate small and mid-sized businesses about various media, about small business, and about the statistics about small businesses and why they fail. You know, 70% to not have a website is, to me, it's hard for me to absorb that.
How badly or how does the convoluting of the main, well, your clients, publications, media, whatever it is, they have their rate card. Now this goes off rate card quite a bit.
I would say probably a lot of this is discounted, but it's discounted because they're negotiating with me, okay? So they're not negotiating with you, okay? And again, I gave you the example. And you can call Rhonda.
Negotiate each one of these.
I negotiate and I help. Because at the end of the day, they want to sell this stuff. Because again, it's unused inventory. So here's what they see. They see the small and mid-sized business, their client for life. Once they capture it, okay, they're going to use the hook, okay, and it's going to be the package and make it attractive, and that's their client for life.
Do they barter?
No bartering. No, it's all cash. It's all money. It's all money.
So speaking of that client for life, so if you introduce them,
Yep.
will they, if they go direct then to that advertiser in the future, obviously you're not getting it.
I miss on the money. Yes, you're right. Yes.
So is there any sort of carrot that you can give to that business to continue to book through you because you consistently have lower rates, or you negotiate with the provider that, you know?
I'm gonna give you guys a rude awakening, okay? And maybe some of you guys know this, okay? So it's a statistic. 75% of businesses don't do repeat business because that business failed them. Media companies are number 1 with that, okay? I have no problem knowing that if that media company fails them, they're gonna come back and they're gonna look for something else, okay? And it's a sad number, and Unfortunately, I'm a byproduct of it now because I do buy media for some of my clients. And I will tell you, hands down, there's no follow-up. It's because, again, media companies don't see the value in small and mid-sized businesses. They're treated as kind of like the stepchild, okay? And I treat them like every penny matters. Every penny means something. It's hard-earned money, okay? And it's only supposed to produce more hard-earned money. And so that's the difference. I think that answered your question.
Kind of.
I see you offering a valuable service. Once a certain period is over, 6 months or a year, will the media company then bump the price up and lose a discount?
If they're smart, they should renew them before the 6 months is up on the same plan. If they're smart, I can't control that.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this goes to your question, is if they do that, they'll come back and look for something else, okay? There's enough media out there, and I've met with businesses that have tried literally everything, you know?
Time for one more question.
Okay.
So just a question, so I understand, all of this advertising is inventory from media companies, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my concern would be, I want to place my advertisement with an advertisement that's in demand. I think I would be hesitant right away thinking, why is there inventory left over? Just from an economic standpoint. Is there a reason why there's inventory on these, or are they not able to sell them? I'm just out of curiosity.
Okay. If you buy advertising as in demand, you're going to pay a premium.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to pay a premium. Advertising in demand does not mean it's the best fit, and it does not mean it will work. It does not. Okay.
No,
So I'll give you a great example, you guys. I don't try that chart. I'll use a great example. I worked with an advertiser, and they bought the #1 radio station in the market. Okay. This is a restaurant martini bar. #1 station. They spent $120,000. $120,000. Okay. 1 year. At the end of the year, they looked back. They said it didn't work. They were about to close their doors. I met with this company, and they were like, Kat, if this doesn't work, we're going to close our doors. I hear that all the time. It's a horrible situation for a business to be in, but I hear it all the time. Okay, and so I put together a campaign. I represented a weak TV station, bottom of the barrel. But it was finding out, okay, who's your audience? Okay, finding out what your need was, not the media company. The media company obviously sold something that was their corporate initiative, their needs. It was about the small business and what their needs were. And so we created a campaign, $1,000 a month. They did it for 3 months. They renewed for another 3, they did another 3. They did it for a whole year. It worked. It worked. And so again, we're talking about the difference of a media company selling their corporate needs, their goals to you, or you finding what is appropriate for your business and your needs. Yes?
I understand your model, and I just want to make an analogy. If you go to a movie and all the seats aren't full, or you get on the airplane and all the seats aren't full, after it's over, they can never resell them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what they're selling is those empty seats in the theater and in the plane.
Exactly.
All right, and then we want to just end things by asking you, as we ask all of our presenters, sorry, my voice sounds horrible. What can we as the Milwaukee community do for you?
Well, the feedback was great. I appreciate it. Just getting the word out. Like I said, I just started blasting this. This is the revenue phase, and this is actually the first week I sent out information about the packages, okay? So any suggestion or advice of what you think I should do to get the word out, I'm open to. I'm excited about my product. Like I said, I hope you feel my passion. I hope you can sense that this is a long time coming. It's my vision. And at the end of the day, and I know it's stupid to say this, and I tell my interns this, if I never got paid to do what I'm doing, I'd still do it because I believe in what I'm doing.